For all of you who listen to Mac East Second Floor Studios present Submersion and own an Android device, do me a favor. Go to the Google Play Store and download the Podcast Republic app. It's a fantastic app that allows you to get all of your favorite podcasts directly on your Android device. I personally use the app, and I love it. I can search for the podcasts I want to listen to, select them as favorites, and have them all just a click away. Make sure to set Mac East Second Floor Studios as a favorite so you don't miss any of our new episodes. Again, the app is the Podcast Republic app, available on Android devices. Episode 56. Woo!
Hello.
And, hello.
Hello, governor.
Oi.
Oi. Are you doing a little Vinnie Jones impression? Not to spoil what we watched, but...
Where my crew?
Vinnie Jones.
Who that?
Yeah. But yeah, we got a pretty special episode because we watched something pretty awesome.
Yeah.
What that?
I mean, they already know. Everybody's already clicked on the episode. You already know what you're listening to.
Well, but no, this is the most confusing one ever, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Because you might be thinking to yourself, wait a minute, didn't you just do Submerged
what is
a
this?
couple episodes
is this
ago?
A remix or something like that? What's going on?
Don't worry. We're doing Submerged again.
Yeah, but a different one.
Different
again,
Submerged.
but different.
And there are actually many movies named Submerged.
Right, and not all of them have submarines. Sometimes they have a souped-up limo that went into the river or something, right?
I don't know.
That's what I think. That's one of the Submerged. Is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we got Brom and Zac on.
Hi, friends.
Who that?
Oh, a little impression. Another spoiler alert for what we watched.
Yeah.
Alligator.
Oh.
Alligator.
Why that?
With my crew. Is that what he said?
Yeah. Where my crew?
Yeah. And Zac, you
better get your white ass out of here, Jamie.
You definitely 100% watch this movie, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I own this on Laserdisc, DVD, Blu-ray, VHS, and this is a classic in the Watson family.
Do you have a Betamax version of it?
No, they were sold out that day.
That's true.
So,
and it sucks, dude, because you camped out for Black Friday to get the beta of this.
Yeah, 2 days.
It's garbage, man.
It is garbage.
2 days.
Man. Everything about this is garbage.
Actually, you should save that for a Zac fact about the Betamax release. Giving you a little.
Oh,
don't tell me how to do my facts.
Just an idea. I'm sorry.
Wow. Oh, dude. It's getting real up in here. Loving it. So, I mean, holy crap, guys.
Yeah. Should we talk
Zac,
about
what did Brom, Jamie, and I watch?
Did you not? You don't want to do the dive before we do that?
Oh.
Don't we always do this before the dive?
Guys,
No,
let's
I
talk
don't think
about
so.
something completely off topic so we can organically do the
so
dive.
we can cover ourselves.
Right. So,
We're talking about nothing
Jamie,
right now.
Jamie, what's your thoughts on flat Earth?
I don't believe in flat Earth.
What began as an innocent conversation among friends would soon spiral out of control and later be referred to by future generations as the eighth wonder of the modern world. Mac East Second Floor Studios takes you on the journey of your lifetime as your captains, Alex the Mustard Man, the artist formerly known as Brom, Jamie the Brain, Kyle El Capitan, and Zac the Backbone present Submersion.
Wow, sounds like Jamie was about to confess to being a flat earther. That'd have been
Yeah, he
embarrassing.
was.
Just my hero, Kyrie Irving.
Monster. I'm just kidding. All right, so Zac, what did Brom, Jamie, and myself, and you,
why not?
Have the great pleasure of watching?
Well, we watched the world's best mercenary, Steven Seagal, and he's freed from prison. But there's a catch. He must use his lethal weapons and fighting skills to stop terrorists who have taken over a nuclear submarine. That movie is Submerged with Steven Seagal.
That is Submerged 2005 version because we previously watched the 2001 version.
There's
right?
also a 2016 one.
Yeah, I believe that's the limo into the river.
Yeah.
And there's also another one where there's like a plane, I think, that goes underwater.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, but that one's from some other time.
Do I smell a new
You can
podcast?
keep track. all submerged all day long.
The sequel to
Break off of
Submersion.
Submersion and go to Submerged. I'd be down.
But yeah, so this was so that was not an accurate assessment of what actually happened in the movie at all. That's not the plot of this film. But that's what Amazon thinks is the plot of the film, I guess.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's not the case.
No, not at all. But yeah, we did. This is on Amazon Prime. You can watch it there. You can also watch it on probably our new favorite streaming service now, Tubi TV.
Tubi TV. I think it's because we're watching so much small, because we've kind of blown past all the really big submarine films into some of the, let's just be kind, the smaller ones, aka the much worse ones. And Tubi TV kind of picks up the dregs of these licenses and kind of puts up. So when it shows up on Tubi TV, usually that means it's not good.
I know they're not a sponsor, but I was pretty impressed. Nice little interface.
No. I'm not saying that I don't enjoy Tubi TV. I've actually had only good experiences using them to stream films.
You up.
But yeah, when something shows up there and it's like, oh, it's available on Tubi TV and nothing else, you're just like, oh. Because the other one we had was The Chamber, right? That was the other Tubi TV one.
Yes.
And that was also...
I have checked on there.
Great.
They do have some like bigger name things.
Yeah,
you know,
here and there, little things.
That's
Neither here nor
something else.
There. All right, should we get into it? Should we get into what this is?
Yeah, Zach, tell us what happened.
Yeah, jump in. Just you do the rest of the
Just
synopsis.
You do the
thing?
recap tonight.
All right.
Yeah.
Just do the whole thing. Go for it. Yeah.
So it sounds like
See if you can even get close.
Steven Seagal's a man, and he's a man with a plan, but he's behind enemy lines where he has to infiltrate the Russians and the Ukrainians, and he has to get a shotgun and snipe people with a shotgun. And there might be a woman that's in there for 10 minutes. That's all Steven needs of her. And then he wins. He wins the fight of all fights. And the movie ends.
I mean, that's,
All right, let's
not
get
the
into
worst
some ratings, guys. Zach, we haven't heard much from you tonight. What did you think of this movie?
All right, should we get into it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Zach, you're never going to actually believe how this opens.
Right.
But it opens with a woman standing on a volcano, and then there's all kinds of insane just stuff flashing all around.
Yeah.
You don't really know what's going on.
Yeah, we're basically opening a hard metal music video of sorts.
Yeah.
And there's like naked lady somewhere, and then someone's like falling off a cliff, and they're on a volcano, and all kinds of crazy shit's happening. And then we see a truck heading towards like a secret base in a dam, right?
And we also have a UAV that's taking photos of this dam.
Yeah, so you see this drone, and it looks super real, not fake at all. I mean, it's basically top-notch visual effects, I would say. And it's taking pictures, and the scientist in the thing is like a little afraid of getting a picture taken of him.
Yeah.
Why? And the rebel,
why would he be scared of that?
The rebel leader's like, get out of here. We got this all on lockdown. Do not worry about it. They're shooting at it. We got like a plane that goes up and tries to take it out or some shit.
Yeah. This also may be the first movie I've ever seen where it takes place in Uruguay.
Yeah, it's just such a weird choice. I'm not exactly sure why they chose that. Yeah,
can I I've been to that country, man.
Oh, is that where Tortugas were?
That was
the teenage
in Argentina.
That was Argentina.
And I went across the river, not a river, the bay, and I was in Uruguay, and I got a little ceramic turtle. So there you go.
A Tortuga.
Yes.
And was it Montevideo? Is that where you went or no?
No.
Oh.
That's all I got.
Well,
but but just so you know, I can empathize with this movie, because I was there.
I see. Okay. You were like, that's where I would set a movie. What's the big deal?
You might as well, right?
And so anyways, the scientist also has different plans. He's like, don't you fucking worry about it. I got all this stuff on lockdown. It doesn't even matter if they took pictures because I'm going to click some buttons. And all of a sudden we see like the Secret Service agents walking with the ambassador of the United States in Montevideo, Uruguay. And they're going through these pictures and stuff like that. And like, do we have a picture of this person or whatever? And he like sends out like a little signal or some shit. Mm-hmm. And they go haywire and shoot the ambassador, shoot the assistant, and then shoot each other.
Yeah.
So everyone's murdered.
So now you know something's afoot.
Oh, for sure.
Mind control.
It's mind control. And we'll get Steven Seagal's thoughts on mind control later.
Yeah,
Because I know we're
will.
all curious about what he personally thinks about mind control.
Well, yeah, who wouldn't?
And so we'll hear about that later because he made sure to make a point of saying it specifically.
And then we cut on over. We just see some guys flying around in a helicopter with one of the greatest green screens on planet Earth that I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I mean, dude, they had one side of the helicopter with this just obvious green screen.
Yeah.
And then the other one was just kind of like, oh, you know, it's too bright out. You can't see the light. I should have done that for both of them. It would have looked much better than what we were getting.
It was also weird because the helicopter was computer graphics when you were looking at it. So they had it flying over water, but it was clearly computer graphics. And then when they all jumped out, it was clearly just like sitting on the ground and they were jumping out into the ground.
Yeah.
And it was like so strange. It was like, oh yeah, they just didn't have the budget or the interest in making this look good.
I'd rather just say the interest.
Yeah. So anyways, they're all there. He's kind of like the main guy who was actually played by Gary Daniels. Do you know who this person is? Gary Daniels?
The name sounds familiar, but probably because it's so basic.
Yeah. So he's like a martial artist Z movie star. So he has like a million movies he starred in.
Yeah.
He's in it. And I was like, wait, is that Gary Daniels? Because I've seen a couple films that he's been in. And then, yeah, it's fucking Gary Daniels, but he has such a small, useless part in this. So weird. And he's kind of thinking about his kids or something. And another guy's like, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And then they jump out and they're like, it's a fucking chat.
Well, no, first they're like, is it safe? And they're like, make radio contact.
Yeah.
They make radio contact with this dude who instantly, he says,
he's like, yeah,
everything's
definitely,
clear.
everything's super cool. We'll definitely land. And then immediately gets like a knife in his neck.
Yeah, dude, some guy just like commando knifes him. It's amazing.
Like just a second after he says everything's cool. Go ahead.
Yeah. Worst lookout ever.
So they jump out and there's like a woman with some goats. And she's like walking along and they're like, who the fuck is that? Who the fuck is that?
And then your boy Gary Daniels is freaking out.
Because he's clearly been mind controlled at some point in his life.
I guess.
Seems like what it
How?
is, right?
I
have
mean,
no
it has
idea.
to be.
No one. This movie doesn't need explanation or logic. He has
That's
been
true.
mind controlled at some point in his life, and he doesn't know what to do. And eventually, they do shoot the woman who's herding these goats because she has like a bomb on.
Yeah.
And the bomb explodes and sprays them with goat blood and human blood, and then a bunch of people jump out and take them captive.
Yeah, well, they kill most of them.
They kill most
and then
of them.
he's just like still freaking out. And he's like, everybody
"Bah!"
surrender.
Yeah,
And you're like,
so
"What?"
bizarre. I'm not sure when he would have been mind controlled or why, because later he gets mind controlled again.
Yeah.
So,
Well, whatever.
yeah. So, anyways,
Well, then we see them. They take him to the
later,
the dam.
Dr. Adrian Lader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's taken there where he will be mind controlled.
Yes.
And then, now it's amazing.
Finally.
We get to see Steven Seagal.
And you got this music like boom, 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 as he walks in.
Awesome metal play.
I was like, and he's like, probably pushing 300. I don't know. Probably not that much.
No, he's not even close to 300.
He's
there.
probably pushing what, like 260
Maybe
at this point. And he is not looking super great from a physical standpoint, probably because of all those years in prison. Because what we learn is that he's Chris Cody. He's a top-ranked mercenary who took part in an undercover operation to stop a major terrorist strike on U.S. soil. I'm reading this because apparently they explained this, and I just didn't realize it.
Just went over your head.
Yeah,
well,
so
dude,
I
it's
found
so
this
advanced. You're just starstruck when you look at Seagal.
Yeah. So then the UN refused to believe that a strike was actually coming. He had to go rogue and blow the thing to smithereens.
They did mention that.
Yeah, and
much later.
Yeah, he had to break a whole bunch of laws by doing it, and so they threw him into jail along with his whole team. And we get kind of a one by one, like, here's who everyone is. And I immediately forgot who everyone was.
Yeah, but now they need to bring him out of prison because they need him to go and make these bad guys go away.
Yeah, and
what do they get? They get a full pardon and $100,000, and they specifically mentioned their back taxes will be taken care of.
Everything, all those back taxes they had, gone.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, and yeah, it's looking pretty sweet. It's like a pretty sweet deal.
Oh yeah,
for our boys. So he's like, yes. Now, one thing to realize as we're introducing these characters is one, Seagal has some unknown accent.
Could anybody figure out what accent that was?
I guessed it was Cajun because he kept on saying like, "Hey, alligator," and like talking about catfish and stuff.
I'm not sure it was a real accent. It just sounded like someone with mental deficiencies.
Did Steven did he have a cold during filming?
Dude, I've never heard anyone with a cold like that. It's like, hey man, how you guys doing?
No way, he talked like that the whole movie.
Yeah,
he's like, hey, how's it going? Hey, alligator. Oh, where my crew? Where my crew?
Who dat?
Yeah, and we're like,
you better get out of here, white boy.
Yeah, it is. At some point, you better get your white ass out of here.
Yeah. So they kind of let him know what's up and where they're going. They're heading off to this thing, and they keep on calling it. They're saying, "Oh, why are they doing so?" And they say, "Oh, because we're expendable." And I was like, "Oh, they're ripping off the Expendables." But this came like way before the Expendables. I didn't realize that.
Probably because the Expendables knows a solid action movie like Submerged.
They ripped this off. That's what I'm saying. They ripped this off. Expendables ripped off Submerged. 2005, starring Steven
Seagal's coming for you.
Yeah. And so, anyways, they have a couple of hangers-on. They got a doctor who's coming along because she knows all about mind control. She's like a mind control doctor.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that people are. And then,
can you imagine if you went to school? Oh, so what are you studying? Well, I got my PhD in mind control. What?
Yeah, that'd be.
Is there a future in it?
Nuts.
You minored in that, though, right, Jamie?
Yeah, no, but kind of amateur mind control. I wouldn't say I even minored in it.
Oh,
I studied under a doctor. Quote unquote, doctor.
I get what you're saying.
On you.
Studied under a doctor.
It's a pyramid scheme, really, of mind control. So, like, he mind controlled me to get 2 people to mind control, and they each have to mind control 2 more people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it is what it is.
Do you get like a badge or something when you get so many people underneath you that have mind controlled others?
No.
Oh, not a good pyramid scheme.
Come on, you don't know anything about this. Anyways, they also get Fletcher, who's like part of like the whatever it is. I'm not even sure who these people are. The FBI, CIA,
no idea.
Whatever, military,
no clue.
Anonymous military, and Fletcher's one of the anonymous military people, and he's coming along. And Steven Seagal's having none of that shit. He's like, this guy's a total like evil guy. He's evil.
Yeah.
And we're getting rid of him. And everyone just presumes that everyone on his team is like, yeah, he fucking sucks. Obviously, we're getting rid of him.
Yeah.
So they get to the drop zone, and he's like, yeah, you go out first. And Fletcher jumps out, and they're like, yeah, let's jet.
Yeah, then they go land at some Mayan ruins, and everybody's like, what's going on? They're like, oh, he's already changing the plans. What's up?
Also doesn't make sense. Mayan ruins in
Wait a minute.
Uruguay?
Yeah, are they still in Uruguay right now?
They are.
Looking
They
for
are
Mayan
specifically in Uruguay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
All right.
But during this, we also get the backstory on what they did to stop or why they were imprisoned. And they did mention that they prevented 9/11 at sea.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yep.
They use those words.
Good reference there. Yes, they did.
Do. And then he also calls up a lady at this point who is apparently like a top-notch mercenary as well, but wasn't in jail. And they introduce her in a complete ripoff of Raiders of the Lost Ark. She's drinking a guy under the table while doing a arm wrestling competition, which is like straight from Raiders of the Lost Ark. And then he calls her up, and she's like, you stay right here, you get another chance, because she just beat this guy in arm wrestling. And then gets a call from Cody, and she's like, oh, I'm going to get out of here. I was like, what about that guy? He was waiting for his rematch.
Yeah, dude, too bad, dude. She won.
I would be like, horseshit, give me the money. You forfeit.
Dude, she would kick your ass.
That's true. She probably would just beat me. She'd be like, yes.
This dude who's like just a step underneath the rock.
She was probably going over the top. She was cheating.
Oh, straight up. Turn that hat backwards.
Yeah, dude.
Over the top.
Over the top.
And win a truck. And so, anyways, they head towards Later's facility. It's also a ripoff of Universal Soldier at this point, which also had a scene of them taking over a dam. And they kind of have to climb down the dam. So they have all these like special tricks where they're like rappelling down, or how do you say it? Rappelling?
In this? They were rappelling down the dam?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Wow.
And then taking out all kinds of people.
Yeah.
And then, but Later has already left. He's like, I'm blowing this joint. He kills the rebel leader. He's like, fuck you guys.
But do you also see what he does here earlier in the scene? He's testing out his brainwashing on some guy. and he just like smokes some dude in the face with a wrench. Am I right? It was a wrench.
Was it a wrench?
I think it was.
Okay, check it off.
And it hits the guy so hard it turns his head sideways. He wasn't even acting at all at this point. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, "What's up, Dad?"
Right. Yeah.
Bro, what you doing?
And later's like, "See, that's how good I am at my job. And also, you're all dying." And he has these super soldiers all kill the rebel forces.
Yeah.
He leaves a bunch behind, including Gary Daniels. And it's like, they're my Trojan horse. They're going to stay here and get picked up by the mercenaries. And they're going to take them out for me. And I'm going to jet with this one guy and Fletcher. And we're going to head to Montevideo to finish the plan. Finish that plan.
Yep.
It's a very coherent plan that makes sense because I just abandoned this first part that I specifically we set up in kind of a very intricate way. We've been explaining it for a while.
Doing it for like a half hour.
Yeah, we've been explaining it for a long time, but like forget it. And he's like, they just turned to the viewers like, just forget all that because we got a new plan. Yeah, and it's written by Steven Seagal, co-writer of this film, and then off they go,
dude. And then was this? I don't even know if this was at the dam or not. So Seagal and the boys, get the guys who've been mind controlled.
Right.
They take them.
Yes.
And then now they start assaulting a dock where there is a submarine.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So that's a separate group. So they split into two groups.
Oh, okay.
One group is a group that's taking over the submarine.
Yeah.
That they knew was there, and they were going to just take apparently a Uruguayan government submarine or some shit.
Well, I said this was an Oberon class.
There we go. Good call.
Yeah.
Wasn't the Oberon class? Wasn't that like a Canadian submarine that we had before?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, I have to look that up. Anyways, so they take it over and they're waiting. They're basically like, we're ready to go. And then the people who are taking over the dam, they want it to blow. So they set up explosives on the dam. But then like a whole army comes and they have a tank. They have a fucking tank.
Dude, all right. So they're going around and it's kind of like Splinter Cell. They're really stealthy for a while.
Right.
And they're even like shooting these barrels, blowing up guys. He's like, dude, the flames make it so their throats swell shut and they can't even scream.
It's true, Vinnie Jones.
Yeah. And then... And then they begin their assault. They get really close to the dam. And then Seagal, this is when he starts getting some of these great quotes. He looks at somebody, he's like, "There's some sick shit up in here, alligator."
Yeah.
and then like right after that, he looks at one of the guys like, "You got 10 minutes to get your white ass out of here."
Yeah.
Like,
why does he talk like that?
What is this? Dude, no idea.
Because he's Cajun. What are you, racist?
And then, like Jamie said, an army shows up.
Yeah, straight up.
Seagal takes them on with a shotgun.
Yeah, they all just stand there. They're literally lined up. There's an army and a fucking tank. They're all shooting. This army and a tank is shooting at them. Can't hit any of them. They hit one of them at one point, but like, you literally hit them once. One person gets hit.
Yeah.
And they're just sitting there like, and like shooting this shotgun at them.
And the shotgun has unlimited ammunition.
Yeah.
It's great.
And then Seagal runs up. He pops someone in the face, jumps. He gets thrown a grenade by his lady friend, and then throws it into the tank. And it's like, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
And then the tank blows up.
It was incredible.
Sure. Yeah, it was incredible physical feats by Steven Seagal. I was impressed by his physical prowess on the screen and his charisma. Yeah. You know? Anyways, incredible. They run out to the submarine. They got all these prisoners, and was it Seagal? Was he like worried about them? People were worried about bringing them anyways, but I think the doctor was like, "No, we can't leave them," or something.
Maybe
because she's part of the government. She's like, "We can't leave them," and Seagal's like, "Oh fuck." And so they bring them on board, and they put them into the hospital where someone's trying to work on one of the guys who was shot, the only guy who was shot. But otherwise, they're just kind of cruising around. They're going to head back to this aircraft carrier that they started on.
Maybe.
No, that's what it was. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
So they dive and they're heading there. Also weird. I'm not sure why they necessarily would have dove, but
I don't know.
Whatever.
But at this time, well, Seagal's like, the mission's done. This is fine.
Oh yeah, they're gonna like escape.
The doctor says, "Well, guess what? The mastermind who's been working on mind control is on the loose. We need to find him." He's like, "As far as I'm concerned, we did our part."
Right. Good. It's great. He was actually Steven Seagal just came in here for a second.
Yeah.
He just left though. He was
just so we're clear. Is that how he? That's not how he usually talks, right? I have not seen
in a lot of films. He does. He's like, "Hey, you want to take me on? Well, you get the lion or some shit."
Brom's loving it.
Yeah, I mean, that's more or less what he does. He's always whispering, kind of like mumbling. He's like, "Hey, what's up?
You just awakened the dragon."
Yeah, you just awakened the dragon.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's real good.
Yeah. And he's always squinting. He's like, "Hey, what's up?
You mess with the
Who
bull,
are you?"
You get the horns.
Whenever we're talking like that, we just naturally squint. It's just kind of a,
"Hey, what's up?
Hey guys. We're doing this recap right now.
Hey,
Zach,
it
what you know about this?
To tango.
So anyways.
Shit, so stupid.
So anyways, he's sitting on the submarine and he's kind of talking about how like he's not super keen on having these prisoners there. Their mind control kicks in and they wake up and they start taking people out. And they're
freaking out.
Yeah, they've taken all the weapons away because they're on the submarine and they've given them to Vinnie Jones, who's like in charge of all the weaponry. Anyways, they're fucking people up. The doctor he like gets away or something, right? Or does he get killed? I can't actually remember.
Well, the doctor
guy,
lady or no?
No. The one who was working on their.
Oh, okay. I think some people
die. Yeah, some people die.
But then for some reason, the two women are fighting each other with a knife.
No.
Yes. They are fighting each other. Do you remember that scene?
I remember
they come at me with that knife. And
that's right. Yeah.
They're just like practicing, right?
They were like testing each other because she was like a doctor, so she's like, "Who's this bitch?" And then, sorry, not to offend anyone, but they.
I'm so offended, bro.
And then, but they're kind of testing, and then she kind of proves herself as being like, oh, she's also was a Marine, so
yeah,
it doesn't matter. She has like a PhD in psychology or some shit, whatever.
And now we're getting like a lot of great hand-to-hand combat. We've got a lot of hand-to-hand knife fights, breaking out.
I do have some trivia about the Steven Seagal Gary Daniels fight, but I'll save that for later. Okay. Anyways, basically, Steven Seagal beats the shit out of Gary Daniels for like 5 minutes.
And what does he say, Brom? He he just fucking manhandles this guy and throws him into the kitchen.
Cocksucker motherfucker.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
What is this?
And I can't remember exactly what it was, but I had the subtitles on because I often watch movies with subtitles to try to get an accurate portrayal of what people are saying.
Right.
For my notes and stuff. And this one, for whatever reason, Amazon had it like radio edited so that all of the subtitles were wrong. So it was like, corkscrewing mother fudger. And I was just like,
that's awesome.
It's not awesome. That's weird. And also like unnecessary. Why would subtitles are for like people who can't hear?
Yeah.
And so why would you edit it? Like, why don't they want to see an R-rated film?
Whose job it is to sit in a room and do that, you know?
Yeah. It's so ridiculous. It was so bad. I was like, I don't understand. In what world are they making this like a G-rated?
No idea.
Subtitles.
We are totally going to go over time on this ridiculous movie.
No, there's no reason to either because not much is actually happening at this point. Like Gary Daniels and him, he beats the shit out of Gary Daniels. They defeat all of these people eventually because
they get up to the con and they're about to take over this sub.
Yeah, and I think at one point, what was it? The doctor sends like a signal to the aircraft carrier, and Steven Seagal's like, "You signed a death warrant," because like. They know that they have these bad guys on the submarine, and they're just like, oh, we're just gonna blow it up. Like the military's just like, we're just gonna fucking blow it up.
Yeah,
and they start the process of doing that, and so the bad guys are trying to get the submarine up. They want to raise the submarine, right, or they want to bring it down to the. No,
they want to dive.
They wanted to dive, yeah.
But then everybody else is like, we need to escape.
Yeah, and so they're bringing it up at the same time. There's a big scuffle. Steven Seagal has to come in and clean up everything. He like trips a guy, shoots someone, shoots everyone else, and is just like, fuck everyone.
Yeah.
I'm the best, you're all the worst, and I get to be the hero all the time, and you all look like bumbling idiots. And then they get up to the top, and he's like, we got 3 minutes to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. And they do, and they get on some little escape
They get on like a little life raft.
And then a missile just blows the sub up.
And they're fine, even though a missile just blew up the submarine in front of them.
And so at this point, I mean, you can kind of segment this film into like these half-hour slots.
Yeah.
Half hour, it's like building up the story at the dam, and then that's totally done. And then a half hour on the sub, and then that's totally done.
Yeah, unfortunately. I couldn't believe that we were only a submarine for like 25 minutes.
I mean, the title of the film is Submerged.
But they weren't. They were barely ever submerged.
Right. And then now the final half hour is like going into
opera. We'll just call it opera.
Yeah. Opera.
We'll just call it opera. So anyways, they get up and they're going to head to Montevideo because what Seagal says is like, because they know about us now, Later's going to come after me. Like they got a disc, they got like all this information, and Later is going to want to kill them, which isn't exactly even true. I mean, Later does sick the people, but if they just left and crossed over into Argentina, Later wouldn't have given a shit.
Yeah.
But anyways, they head to Montevideo,
where there is a riot going on, and Seagal looks out of the taxi that they're in. He's like, "You're going to catch some catfish. You got to have some bait."
Right, yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, I didn't really even understand because the plot starts to get really crazy. Because he goes out, he's standing, he's got a newspaper. He gleans a shitload of information from this newspaper because we kind of know from what Later was up to. He's like working with this. Cool. We're not even close. He's working with this company that is looking to replace the government of Uruguay, which in this alternate universe is some dictatorship of sorts or something. I don't even know. Anyway,
I don't know the political landscape.
I have no idea. The president seems to be not a friend of big business or something, and there's all kinds of riots or whatever. So this company wants to take him out. And how are they going to take him out? Using mind control. So they've hired Later and Fletcher, and they forget whatever we said in the beginning of the film. Now we're working on this company, and what we're going to do is we're mind control people for this opera tonight, and the fiance of the president is going to kill the president, and and we're going to take over the government. And that's like, okay, cool. And Steven Seagal pretty much cleans this entirely from a newspaper. He looks and he's like, huh, interesting, opera. And like that's in the newspaper. It's like he's attending an opera. He's like, that must be where it is. What? Yeah. And he also sees like a super soldier on the window. He's like, Vinnie Jones, take care of that shit. And then the doctor gets kidnapped, and they're just like,
by the policia.
Yeah, by the police. And they, the idea is that they wanted to grab that as like collateral, even though it was like literally the only person that Seagal like didn't even really care about.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know her. Like, I just met her.
I literally just met this person, but they were going to take her as like a hostage or whatever.
Yeah.
Vinnie Jones goes up in probably the best fight, which is unfortunate for Seagal. He beats the shit out of this super soldier. Yeah. Actually, that was pretty good. It was like a all-out brawl.
Yeah, no, it was a good fight scene.
Yeah. Yeah. You're like, yeah.
I mean, for what we're watching, it's a good fight scene.
They head to a safe house where they are starting up the idea of what their plan is going to be.
And somehow they have I can't remember how they got this, but they have the phone number of the mad scientist for a satellite phone.
That's right, yeah.
And they give him a phone call. And then the mad scientist is like, damn it, no. The government has a location. I'm like, what?
But the government isn't acting on blowing up the company because it's like a private company. They're like, wait a second, that's weird. Fletcher had set this up as a dead zone, so that's pretty suspicious, right? And they're like trying to figure out whether they can blow up this company or not.
Yeah.
It's so weird, which then they don't even do that. It's bizarre.
Who knows?
So anyways, and Steven Seagal is like, the plan. Oh, we also see that the doctor who's in prison gets brought out of prison, or she's let out of prison by the ambassador, the new ambassador, because the previous ambassador was killed in the beginning of the film. So the new ambassador comes, says, hey, come with me, but then gives her to Fletcher. So you're like, ambassador, bad guy. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But then Steven Seagal's like, yo, ambassador, like, I got to take your place at the opera tonight. And the ambassador's like, oh, you really explained this to me. Like, yes, okay, yes. And I'm just like, wait, I'm confused now. We
literally just want to go.
In like back-to-back scenes, we saw him working with the bad guys and the good guys.
Yeah.
So was he a good guy or a bad guy?
I think he just didn't know. Because Fletcher didn't let on that he was a bad guy.
Except he had a gun.
He did have a gun waiting in the car.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does it matter?
Doesn't matter.
No idea.
Anyways, he takes the place of the ambassador for that night.
Yeah.
And he's also going to be sitting next to the CEO of that company that Later's working for. That's like the box he's in or whatever. Later's also got his own plan. He's like, fuck all this noise. I'm in business for myself and money. And so I'm going to kill everyone, and I'm going to extort the CEO of this company that I just started working for by setting him up to die. And
that's a good way to move up through the ranks.
Right. So we see in the opera, Seagal's like, hey, I'm the new ambassador. And no one's like, really?
Yeah, really? Like, dude, I think we would have seen you in a newspaper.
The ambassador died yesterday, and we've never met you. So I'm confused. Like, we think maybe there would be an acting guy who previously had some experience, but instead you seem like a ninja mercenary person.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, no one asks any questions.
They sent in the toughest guy to deal with a tough situation.
He walks straight in. He sits next to the CEO. He's basically joshing around with this guy for a while. He's just like, you suck. I know all of your plans. And then he gets a call from later.
That,
no, he didn't.
You suck. I know all your plans.
Alligator. And then he gets a call. The CEO gets a call from Later, and Later's like, I'm taking all your money. Give me the code. And the guy's like, oh shit. He sees like the gun on him. He's like, okay, here's the code. 8, 9. And then Seagal just like snatches the phone in his hand. Is like, why is it always about money? Yep. Why does it always come down to money? And then he just hangs up.
Oh, Steven!
And then Later's like, God damn it. Foiled again.
And then the guy never gets shot. But then all of a sudden,
there's a high pitched noise. It's all keyed. All the splinter or the secret, like super soldier sleeper agents are attuned to the high note being hit by the lady. And when it hits, they all start killing people.
Dude, and there's like 40 or 50 sleeper agents.
There's so many of them.
It's ridiculous.
And Vinnie Jones is there. He gets killed. Another guy, he's got a concussion for some other reason. The lady swings down and stops the president from getting killed.
Yeah.
And Seagal kills like a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
And then enraged, Seagal heads off to get Later.
So literally, all right, he is at the opera, and then within a second, we see him driving a car with some guy. Is it the CEO guy? It's just somebody.
I don't even recall.
He takes his car and he drives it into a helicopter.
Yeah, so Later has captured the doctor and Fletcher, put them into like a machine to die, and then he's heading out. He's like, oh, anyways, it'll boost my resume to have the president be killed. And then he's going to leave on this helicopter. Steven Seagal heads with his car and just rams into this helicopter to stop the guy. And Later like runs back into the building.
Yeah.
And then he chases after him. You'd think, oh, now Steven Seagal's going to like confront Later and kill him. No, Fletcher, who's escaped from the machine, gets to Later and throws him and electrocutes him and kills him.
Yeah.
And then
meanwhile, Seagal's upstairs
fighting a complete random person.
Yeah, but it's awesome. So he's up there shooting literally everybody with the shotgun.
So many people, yeah.
And then when there's somebody finally like close to his size, he throws the shotgun away because it's like, now we're going to do this hand to hand.
Yeah.
Like, this is what we wanted.
And then he does.
And he crushes it.
Yeah. And then he goes downstairs and he sees Fletcher and immediately kicks him through a window.
Yeah.
And we smash cut to them drinking drinks on like the beach.
Yeah.
And you think, you're like, oh, they're laughing and loving and living and learning and everything's great, except is it?
No, because somebody there is now freaking out because they've experienced mind control.
And that's the doctor. She was actually mind controlled while she was a captor. And oh boy, are we in for some trouble.
Sorry that took so long, but that movie is ridiculous. I do a lot of jumping around.
Yeah, as I often have, I do have one question, kind of an open-ended question.
Yeah.
Did everyone see the time when Steven Seagal pulled out his dick on the submarine? Question mark.
I missed it.
You missed it, Zach. You missed it.
How did you
miss
it? Was
it during
that?
the fight?
No, it was not during. You mean with Gary Daniels?
Yeah.
It was not. It was not during the fight with Gary Daniels.
Oh, he didn't use it like a Stretch Armstrong thing and like try to choke him with it like around his neck.
He may have. I may have missed that part of it
because like swung and maybe tripped somebody with it.
That would have been no. That's exactly what he did. He did it later up on the bridge of the submarine.
Yeah,
when he was sneaking up, he used it to trip the guy. If you thought it was like he looked like it was his hand, it wasn't.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's the amazing Steven Seagal.
The fifth limb.
That's what they call him. That's his nickname. They call him the fifth limb.
Gross.
Alrighty. That was a thrilling film that I can't believe we talked for 40 minutes about.
It's almost as long as the film.
Oh. Pretty much. It was terrible. Oh, sorry. Not to spoil my rating, but like, shit. We talk so much because it's a very confusing movie.
It's so segmented and so weird and just
jumps sideways
so much
to sideways.
Going on.
Later changes his plan. Literally, he drives up and then he's with a Uruguay rebel group. Yeah. Says, fuck this, kills everyone. Goes to a company, says, fuck this, kills everyone. And is trying to leave in a helicopter. Like, who is this person?
The ultimate bad guy.
Well, hopefully we have some really great in-depth trivia that can help us solve these issues during production.
Oh, I do.
But first, I think
who wants to?
I think we need to hear from Zach. How would you rate this recap that you heard of this movie?
Well, this movie, Submerged,
No, this recap of this movie.
This recap of this movie, Submerged. You know, I don't care what everyone thinks about this flick. It sounds like it's the best movie I could have ever watched this past winter. And I'm deadly serious. You have to watch it over and over, it sounds like, to really appreciate it. And it sounds like it can kind of grow on you. I'm going to trust you guys if you like action flicks, watch this movie and you won't be disappointed. That story sounded interesting. Seagal delivers some great lines and villains are very well played. This is not a masterpiece, of course, I think, full of factual inaccuracies, apparently. But I, for myself, don't expect such stuff from Seagal movie anyway. BTW, anyone has any idea why this movie is a UK-Bulgaria co-production? Is Hollywood done with Steven?
Wow.
And that's 100% Zac.
Yeah, that was definitely not some guy named Largo 9. So
wow. I guess that does beg the question: is Hollywood done with Steven?
It definitely was. It technically was, I think. But although he's made like 20 films since this film, he makes a film almost every year.
Does he?
Yeah.
So Zac, out of that number scale here.
Well, if I was going to continue to base my opinion on Largo here, he gave it a 10 out of 10.
No way.
Please do not do that.
You know, I didn't find that helpful. So I'm going to give it, sounds like me. God, see, I rag on some of those old movies you watch so bad because they are so boring. So I'm going to say this is a 2.5.
All righty.
Okay. I mean, you're not far off, I guess, but yeah, that's...
Who wants to go next?
Brom, you want to go or you want to go, Jamie?
I can go.
All right, go for it.
This movie's terrible. This is terrible.
It is.
And I had to think to myself, did I like this more than Agent Red? Did I enjoy this more than watching Agent Red, which is a poorly constructed garbage film? And the answer is no. This is worse than Agent Red. And so I believe I gave Agent Red a 1, thinking that I would never get anything worse than it. And now I've in a little bit of a tough spot. I give it the same amount, or I could go a little bit lower. And I just have to. I just can't in good conscience not, because this is boring. It's bad. It's incomprehensible. It doesn't make any sense. The acting is terrible. Steven Seagal seems like a maniac and also makes me a little uncomfortable just from like who he is as a person, it seems.
Yeah.
We forgot to even mention the time when he talked about mind control. He said, I'm interested. I too am interested in mind control. That was a quote in the movie.
Yeah.
I too have been interested by mind control. But the bad thing is when a corporation takes it to his own hands. I'm like, I'm not sure what the implication even is. Like, a government using it's good.
Yeah, we really want to have mind control. We would love it.
What a crazy thing to think.
But God, if you give it to a corporation,
yeah. So he has all kinds. He does that in a lot of films where it'll clearly be his own opinion. That happens a lot in bad films as well. Like the guy, one of the characters, will have his own opinions in it. So like, I got to give a little wiggle room between this and something that potentially is lower. So I'm going to come in at a 0.75.
Ooh, 0.75.
Yes. It is a terrible movie and people should not watch it.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Brom, you want to go next?
Let's jump in, little anchovy.
You do you, man.
I thought about doing the whole review like that, but I don't think I can handle it. Well, with this movie, if anybody has been to a movie in the past 10 years, you've almost certainly seen a trailer, pardon me, that does the whole goon, goon,
right.
And that just gives you like a little clip of the villain or whatever every time it does the dramatic goon, and then the is like everybody like staring dramatically at the monster or whatever, and then does another
like
goon.
A transformer or something.
Yeah, all those. That was what this movie was, It was basically like someone that edited one of those trailers made this movie. It was just the stupidest editing that was doing all these little, clips and cuts that were timed with the music and everything. The doon 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 doon.
The craziest one also was when they were in the square where the riot was happening, and he was reading that newspaper. There were, no joke, like 5,000 cuts at one point. Where it's like, I was like, I don't even get it. It's not even a cool, like, weird mind control thing. It's just him looking at a newspaper, and they cut it a million times.
It was insane.
Yeah.
It's something that is actually happening a lot in foreign films, especially like Indian soap operas. I guess I've seen some Indian soap operas that have just this wild editing, and that was just throughout the movie. It was so annoying. It was so poorly edited. The acting was terrible.
Leave that there. You've bringing in Indian soap operas.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, it reminded me of just wild. It was crazy editing, acting terrible. The accent, as we have hammered home with Steven Seagal, was
that's probably the
questionable
best
at best. It was, again, like as in the past few movies we've watched, it seems like it's one of those so bad it almost becomes redeemable, and that was really like it was the accent was so bad that it just got funny. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing I would say was bad, that it became good. Everything else was just bad, and it was bad.
Yeah. I would completely agree. It's the only thing I enjoyed from it, and that's all I'm going to give it credit for. I'm going to give this movie a 1.
Oh.
All right. Fair enough. Zach, you got a little high rating there.
Well, it's not the highest.
It's true. Because I'm coming in at a 5. I'm just kidding.
No, Largo with a 10, man.
Dude, Largo 9.
That's ridiculous.
I wonder what Mustard Man has for us, too.
I know what it is. Should I say it? Should I spoil it?
No.
Don't spoil it. Let him do his thing.
3.1.
Yeah, right.
I know, I'm just kidding.
Like we just talked about, the editing was really throwing me the whole time because just so many cuts. I didn't know really during the entire movie what was going on. I didn't know what the plan was. Like when all of a sudden they just hopped in the sub. Did they plan on that the whole time? I have no idea. Seagal's accent was clutch. We didn't see him fight enough.
It's true. That's a characteristic of a lot of his later films.
You just
don't see him. Yeah. And I forget which one is Into the Sun. Maybe is one of the direct-to-video ones that he did. That apparently has like a lot of fighting that people really like. But
yeah,
this one is one that people do not like.
Well, I mean, what's it on IMDb? I mean, it's just
like a 3.
It's really low,
3.0 or something.
And we didn't get a whole lot of sub, but the scenes in the sub I really enjoyed, especially when he threw that guy in the kitchen. I mean, man,
they needed more. It's just so confusing why they left the submarine.
Mm-hmm. I don't get it.
Just stay on the submarine.
And then when they were in the riot, I don't know why, but I felt like they were trying to do some stuff that was kind of like Man on Fire-ish.
Yeah.
But none of it was landing. It was so bad, and I would rather watch Agent Red. That's a good thing to pit this against.
Yeah.
And I gave that a 1, so I'm going to give this probably a 0.5. I mean, it's bad.
If you forget, there are boobies in Agent Red, too. Some boobs.
That's true. And some really great lines.
And some great lines and some really weird editing. And ZNN, I think, was in that one.
Yeah.
I think that's right. So they spend a lot more time in a submarine. There wrench.
I guess like when the sub blew up, it was, decent.
They needed to spend the whole time on that sub.
For a movie called Submerged,
they needed to just do the rest of the film.
You need to spend more than a half hour on it.
The rest of the film needs to be on the submarine.
We didn't need to go and see the riot and go to the opera and have this weird shootout there. I don't know. It was ridiculous.
All of it's bad.
Agreed. It's all bad.
It's a bad movie.
Hey, it ends in a high note. Go to resort.
Oh, was that a pun? An opera pun?
Oh, not intentional.
It did almost end on a high note.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
All right. Sorry. not intentional.
Let's get some trivia. You guys ready for trivia?
Yeah.
Okay. So director Anthony Hickox later said the script was brilliant. It started life as a full-on horror and sci-fi film.
Horror film?
Yeah, I just thought wouldn't it be great if you were stuck at the bottom of the ocean with fucking aliens on your submarine? So that was the original idea. We storyboarded it. We designed the creatures. Like these little mini kind of crab insects that could go down the drains of the submarine so you never know where they were coming. The lead character was supposed to be a bitter old drunken captain. Hickok described his project as Thing in a submarine or The Thing meets Das Boot. It was really interesting, he said. And then Seagal came on board. According to Hickok, Seagal said he liked the script, but 3 weeks before shooting, Seagal called him and said, I don't think this movie should be on a submarine. He also wanted an opera scene and said, I've decided I don't like aliens and I don't like monsters. I don't want to be in a monster movie. Director said that's why it ended up like it did. We had no clue what we were doing, no script, and the whole mind control thing in the final film was made up at the last week before shooting. It was really insane. At that point, again, I should have quit, but I needed the cash. It was also reported that Seagal left the film before it was officially wrapped because of these like disputes with the director.
Really?
That's what it said. It said that he left before the film actually finished.
Now, I can't even imagine. I mean, I know there's a lot of different moving parts, but if you're the director and somebody says, well, you get an actor in, you say, well, I want to change it. Yeah. Wouldn't you be like, you can leave?
It depends on who is what. Because like the thing is, I think with these small ones, these small like companies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Seagal signs on.
Seagal
signs on. It's a Seagal film.
It's him
now.
Or you.
Yeah, it's a Seagal film now. So like,
yeah,
you hit the road because he's not a big enough director to be like, they're getting a Seagal film. They're happy they have a Seagal film, so it's going to be a Seagal film.
All right.
Yeah. And then in an online interview, Gary Daniels claimed that his on-screen fight with Steven Seagal was originally conceived as a much longer and showier and organized by stunt coordinator Steve Griffin. Seagal decided to choreograph the fight himself the day of the film.
The day that
it filmed, yep. Rendering it much shorter and completely one-sided.
No, man. Well, you mean when he just like one arm throws him, like 20 feet?
And if you watch, at no point does Gary Daniels actually
probably even lay hands.
Yeah,
on
he doesn't actually hit Steven Seagal once.
Dude,
that's how he That's how he choreographs a fight.
That's awesome.
That's Steven Seagal.
That's a great fight.
In the book Seagalogy, it's a book.
It's a book?
Yeah, about all of Steven Seagal's films.
Is it written by him?
No. This is one of the films that was highlighted by the author. At that point, they expanded. Originally, it was 12 films, but then they expanded it, so it includes all of his films up to like 2015 or something.
Okay.
So it includes this one. And the author states that this is his least favorite of the films. It's only included because he was writing a book.
All right.
About all of his films. So, Wikipedia says it's set and filmed in Sofia, Bulgaria, and it was filmed in 31 days from August 16th to September 16th, 2004. But it's clearly not set there. Come on. It's just filmed there. And speaking of that, Uruguay considered legal action and said that it's the promotion of a cultural style, typical Hollywood. This time it's Uruguay's turn to be chosen as an exotic banana country. And the film is definitely bad. The best part of the article that I read this in was that they then proceeded to highlight like 5 different really terrible reviews for this. Like
really?
Oh yeah, they like, and the critics agree with Uruguay, and then they went on and like quoted.
Oh my word!
Okay, so this is a Steven Seagal film, right?
Yes,
but he's not the only action star we've had in our lives, and
true,
this was bad. So, do we think any other action stars that we know and love could have potentially saved this one? Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Saved it?
When you say saved it.
No.
Saved it, yeah.
Nobody could save it.
He's got to turn around.
Nobody could save it except for Vin Diesel.
Spoiler alert.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know that this film can be saved.
Dolph Lundgren.
I'd like him in it, but I don't think
I'll tell you.
Sly Stallone.
Now, would he be Gary Daniels and Seagal choreographs a fight still and just whips the shit out of him?
Out of Sly Stallone?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yes?
No.
Come on. That would make it great. I'd be like, all right, you're in.
What about The Rock?
Okay. I'm going to say there's only 2 people in the world that I would watch a movie solely on them alone. One of them's The Rock. So yes.
There we go. So he saved Submerged. Submerged 2005 starring The Rock.
Can I guess
So what
the
you're
other
saying?
one?
Yeah, Kyle.
Who is it?
You
Nick
got
Cage.
it.
Nick Cage is another option.
Yeah.
What
Nick Cage?
There's a third one, though. You're all forgetting.
Ed
Harris.
His name is Ed Harris.
Pass.
He's captain of the submarine and a mercenary and came out of jail.
Zach just said pass.
You passed
Pass?
on him?
I think we
Okay,
should
what
pass
about-
Zach through a torpedo tube.
No. This is okay. The thing is, we're not giving him all the information. We've also dipped Ed Harris into a bucket of grease. What do you think? What do you think now?
I'll watch it drunk.
And then Seagal's trying to fight him, and he's
I slipping and sliding.
Yeah, he tries to pick him up, and he
Yeah.
just can't. I'm like, what's all over you? He's like, grease? Yes, it is.
Exactly.
So I wouldn't say it like that. I mean, what's all over you? Is that grease?
Alligator. It's like slippery, like a pig at a country fair. All right, and then I'm going to finish up with Phantom Zone.
Engage the Phantom.
Phantoms engaged, sir.
Real easy this time. This has been part of the long Abyss cycle the whole time.
Yep.
So Steven Seagal is in Under Siege. Also stars Landry's dad from Friday Night Lights. He was also in Pearl Harbor. And that stars our boy, Billy Fichtner.
Fichtner.
The Fichtner.
The fitched.
Yeah, get fitched. The connection. So it's time for Subs Worldwide.
Yes.
It's subs worldwide. Now, the sub in this film was an Oberon class.
Oh,
Can
you
I even
gotta
call
check
it a
that out.
film? No.
No.
But I've already done an Oberon class. And with Steven Seagal, I didn't really know where to go with it. So I just chose one. I was like, what do I even do? What do I do right now? So I just decided to pick one. This is the Spanish Navy's Isaac Pearl class.
Weird.
Also called the S-80. So, specs on this thing. 265 feet, 265.9 feet long, has a beam of 38.3 feet. For the engine, it has an air-independent propulsion system, so it does not require surface air to operate. And I was reading it, I think it can run on liquid oxygen. It can stay underwater longer than a traditional diesel electric. It has 3 bioethanol engines that generate 1,200 kilowatts each, one electric motor that generates 3,500 kilowatts, and one AIP, or air-independent propulsion fuel unit, that generates 300 kilowatts. So for the speed, it can travel on the surface at 12 knots, while submerged 19. It will hold 40 people. It has 6 533 millimeter torpedo tubes. It holds DM-2A4 torpedoes and Harpoon missiles. So there's kind of a debacle with these things. 4 of them were ordered by Spain in 2003. So a while ago.
Right.
The first boat was supposed to be commissioned in 2015. But due to financial and technical constraints, it was not. So when it was originally ordered, they were costing, for 4 of them, it was 1.75, or sorry, 1,000, how do I describe this? How do I describe this? It was going to cost 439 million euros per boat.
Okay.
And then by 2010, the price shot up to 553 million euros per boat. So price went way up. Also, probably the biggest reason that they haven't been completed yet is there was a unforeseen weight imbalance that's delayed the project by as much as 7 years.
Oh my God.
So during construction, there was an unforeseen 75 to 100 tons of extra weight that was added, which doesn't allow the sub to resurface after it dives. Now, you might say...
That could be a problem.
Yeah, how in the hell do you add 75 to 100 tons? It's a lot of weight. According to a Popular Mechanics article from July 19th, 2018, it has been attributed to a person putting a decimal point in the wrong place.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is pretty horrible. So, to deal with this, they hired a U.S. company, General Dynamics Electric Boat, to fix the issue, and they're going to increase the length by 7 meters, which will add 75 tons of buoyancy. Now, I also read that to lengthen the hull, it would cost 7.5 million euros per meter, which is insane. It's a lot. But it's actually funny. So when they, with lengthening the boat to allow it to surface, the article again cites that this now actually started another problem because the port that they are intended for is now too small for the submarine. These boats are too large to fit in port. So now Spain needs to enlarge the port and dredge the entire area to get them to fit.
Oh my God. So
Yeah.
none of them are launched at this point?
No.
They're just all... Okay.
No.
Jesus Christ. So it's a theoretical submarine.
Well, it's in the works. A lot of money dumped into them, but nothing's coming from it yet.
That is terrible.
Yeah.
Tube 3 ready to fire, sir.
Commence the countdown.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Give it to me.
Brom.
What's up?
Was that?
What up, boy?
So, guys, raise your hand if you've seen Watch Mojo.
No, I don't know what that is.
My hand is down.
Really? You guys
I don't know what is that?
yanking my chain over there? Well, Watch Mojo,
No,
they're a YouTube channel, and they do, like, power rankings, top 10s, all that. So, basically, they're like wannabes of Brom, basically. They want to be doing my countdown.
That's what I haven't heard
good,
of.
Good.
But, I wanted to bring some attention to, some fellow countdown artists. And I went to them this week and I said, hey, I'll reference one of your vids, maybe I scratch your back, you scratch mine. And I hit them up for their top 5 worst movie accents of all time.
All right, man. I'm excited.
And this was perfect. I checked it out. Number 5 here. Harrison Ford, K-19, the Widowmaker, in his Russian accent.
There we go.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, man. That is a bad one.
But they kept the momentum going. Number 4, Sean Connery, The Hunt for the Red October, in his Russian accent.
Oh.
Whoa.
We got 2.
Now, are these all sub movies?
We got 2.
What's going on
It's
here?
kind of crazy right now, yeah.
2 submarine movies. There was also a lot of Nick Cage on the lists.
Oh, for
But
shame.
he was in the 6 through 10 and in a bunch of the honorable mentions. But number 3, Dick Van Dyke with Mary Poppins and his Cockney accent.
Oh, yeah. That is a funny one.
Yeah.
That's basically like our accent. Hello, governor.
Yes, exactly. Number 2, though, Kevin Costner, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. He did a British accent, sort of.
I feel like, didn't he give up on it at some point or something?
Yeah,
I feel like halfway through the movie, he just like goes away.
Yep, that's exactly what happened. And he actually got made fun of in a future Robin Hood movie where the Robin Hood referenced that at least he can speak with a proper British accent. And it was actually a slam,
Amazing.
a callback to Kevin Costner not doing the role justice. Number 1, though, this was ridiculous, guys. You need to look this up if you are not familiar. Keanu Reeves and Bram Stoker's
Oh, sure.
Dracula.
I will say there is one to add to that list. It's very small
Probably
known
on it. It's probably on it.
thing. It's a it was previously unreleased. It was an art house picture made by Al Pacino. He has a British accent and he's talking about gambling. And it previously was unreleased and used to be only shown in museums. But then it's shown up on YouTube, so now you can watch it. So it was never released to theaters or anything like that. And his accent is
atrocious.
Quite literally the worst thing I've ever heard.
Huh.
It is awful. Awful.
That's crazy how these good actors can just, I don't know, get a little too ambitious with their role. And yeah, I guess you could say that.
I forget what the ones. I should look that up. What that Al Pacino one was. Let me look that up. But yes, that was
a good one, Ben.
Yeah. So they sent that list to you.
No, I found it on YouTube. They're actually a huge channel.
Well, what the hell, man?
They've got that particular one had 5 million views on it. The top 10 worst accents. They've got 20 million subscribers. It was actually funny. They're one of they're a channel that got hacked, maybe multiple times, but they'll get hacked every now and again. And somebody will go in and change the names of all the videos. And they've got millions of videos, and they'll go in and they'll change all the names of videos to all sorts of wacky shit. Oh my word,
that'd be horrible trying to get it all figured out.
Yeah, they have to change it all back.
That would suck.
Yeah, so it was a 1990 film called The Local Stigmatic, starring Al Pacino. And you can find it online on YouTube, him doing his Cockney accent, and it is the worst, straight up.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah, gotta have that in, alligator.
All right, we got
Yeah, they didn't mention Steven Seagal's Cajun accent.
Yeah, I know they didn't. That's
they should have.
Might need to put them on blast.
Well, dude, they probably nobody can put their finger on what it is.
Yeah, they're like, no, he doesn't have an accent. Does he? He doesn't have an accent though. Does he? I don't think so. Does he?
Who knows? What would they say? Like the director, he wanted to do a Paraguayan accent while he was in Uruguay. He'd be like, what? Is that really how they talk? Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah. You just don't even know. I was 1988's top instructor at Kaido magazine.
All right.
Yeah?
Zach.
What?
Facts.
What's up, bro?
Guys, I need to point something out. I don't know if any of you ever pay attention to me or not, but I haven't used any sound effects this entire episode.
Zac Facts, it's Zac Facts. When you're going down, get some Zac Facts when you're going down.
Oh, excuse me.
I had to get it in.
There we go.
Get it in. So are we doing Zac Facts? Fact.
Yeah.
Fact. Zach may have watched this movie. All right.
Oh,
good fact.
Pretty good fact.
So let's
that is a fact.
Jump in because these have been planned for weeks. Here's one right off the top. This was the most voted Zac fact that was unreleased until now. Director Anthony Hickox was on suicide watch during filming.
Oh,
yeah, this wasn't funny. It was sad.
Well, I guess, his baby, this horror film with all the tiny crab people, was changed.
Well,
what are you going to do, man?
Krabs is a bitch. You know what that is, Kyle.
Krabs is a bitch.
That's probably why it was so sad. He was wanting to make a metaphor for his own medical condition, and now it's all changed, and he's just like, now it's just me and my crabs.
He's like, you think they go away, and then you try to get rid of them, they just go down the drain, and they come back.
All right, so fact number 2. When interviewed about this film, a reporter asked Steven, how is this movie? And Steven replied, what's a movie?
I think it would be what movie or what is movie?
What is movie?
What is movie?
So after those 2 facts, I felt like I was kind of lacking in the fact department. So I turned to my fellow Zacs on unitedzacfacts.com with all Zacs around the world, and we share facts. So,
wow.
unitedzacfacts.com.
Site, huh?
Here's a great fact for this movie, Submerged. Steven Seagal gained 60 pounds for his role in Submerged, but nobody asked him to.
He just felt like the character Cody was a thicker guy.
Another fact. These are quick ones. Steven Seagal advocates for the unification of Turkey and Greece because he thinks it sounds delicious.
I like that one a lot, actually.
That kind of ties into the previous one.
Steven Seagal once saw a man getting jumped by 3 muggers, so he stepped in. That man didn't stand a chance against 4 of them. Steven Seagal holds the record for the most fruit eaten without realizing it's plastic.
My God.
That's it.
I do want to. Can I cut in?
Cut
Yeah,
in.
Cut in.
You can cut in.
I just want to mention. I forgot to mention this. The director Tony Hickox, right? We've been talking about him. He just mentioned a true fact about him. All that kind of stuff. He was also the director of Stormcatcher, the Dolph Lundgren film that they cut stuff for Agent Red. Remember in the beginning in Agent Red where he steals that stealth plane? And and on his uniform it says Holloway, and that's not a character in Agent Red, but it was a character in this other Dolph Lundgren film, Stormcatcher, that they lifted a bunch of material from. He directed that other film.
Really?
Yeah, Anthony Hickox. And I was just looking at it. It's hilarious. There are 2 characters in that film named Agents Lock and Load. They're 2 FBI agents.
No way.
Lock and Load. Agent Lock and Agent Load. And Tony Hickox plays Agent Lock.
Wow.
In that.
No kidding.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. I try to do that. It's supposed to be Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
The wow.
Wow.
But it's not. I'm not good at it.
Wow.
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 Wow. Have you seen the
alligator?
Have you seen the Phantom Menace fight scene? The major, the epic fight scene with the famous song and everything, and then the moment. Yeah, Duel of the Fates or whatever it's called, and then the very first moment the lightsabers clash, and from then on it's all Owen Wilson saying "wow" for the lightsabers. Wow, wow.
Should I stop this recording, Kyle?
No, dude. So wait, Zach. Before we even started, you were talking about Seagal vision.
Oh, yes. So Steven Seagal was on. He had his own TV show a few years ago, back when we were in college, and it was him just joining a local police department in a southern state. I'm just guessing Georgia, but I have no idea. I posted a link in our Discord channel, our newly created Submersion Discord channel, and it shows you the Seagal vision where he is sitting in a police car. No words are spoken. But as he looks out the window at people, it turns different colors as if he is somehow seeing into the future that these guys are bad guys.
Now, it's like Steven Seagal in like a Minority Report situation.
I guess.
You guys don't know that movie?
I never saw it.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I'm looking at Gary Daniels.
Seriously?
Kickboxing.
Oh, my word. All right. Is this like a real police force or is this a fake police
God,
force?
We literally watched this together.
He was a deputy sheriff or something in some town.
Let me look it up.
This is insane. What was it, college?
Wasn't it in Arizona?
Was it a Thursday night? Was it on that?
Something like that.
Oh, okay.
It's his own reality TV show because then he got like a lawsuit against him.
Do you know he also released? Yeah, that's right. Because he busted into someone's house without a warrant or something for the show.
Really?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
He released 2 albums.
No,
it's on Spotify if you want to listen to one of his albums.
Is it good?
It's a blues album. Apparently not.
Does he talk like this the whole time?
No, but it's a blues album, so he's He's playing guitar. Let me bring it up. Hold on, I had it.
While Jamie finds that, raid? Here the actual name of the show was Steven Seagal Lawman, a reality TV show on A&E, and he was sued. So,
yeah, Songs from the Crystal Cave. That's the Steven Seagal album.
Songs from the Crystal Cave.
How do we become Steven Seagal?
How do we start a blues band?
What's blues?
What blues?
What's a band?
What's music?
Who blew
What is
who?
band?
What's life? What's love?
I prematurely blew myself
Hmm.
on what was supposed to be a dry run.
Hmm.
And now I've made a
Steven
mess
Seagal
of
law,
things.
You're in a sticky situation.
Got myself into a sticky situation.
Thanks for listening to Submersion. Find us on SoundCloud and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Can't get enough of us? Don't forget to subscribe for new episodes every Thursday. And if you like what you heard, please go ahead and give us a rating.
I believe I can fly. I believe
I can
touch the sky.
Think
about it every night and day.
Is this part of the episode? Because we should cut this.
No, this is part of the episode. It's in.